The Irish tax bill's been well looked after. I'm sure we all know about the I don't even know what you would call it, a bike stand. I wouldn't call it the shed. People call it the shed. If this is a shed, then I wouldn't want to see what a shed is. But long story short, to put it bluntly, nothing's ever going to be done about it. People are never going to be held accountable. There'll be a big tribunal, thousands will be spent, and at the end of the day, they won't know who to blame. So there'll basically be nothing said. Nobody will lose their job. Nobody will have any repercussions because that's just how Ireland works. It'll be all forgiven, forgotten about it. The media will forget about it within a week. And they'll be all forgiven, forgot. 350,000 euro down the drain, but what about it? That's what we know, because again, there's probably more than that. There's probably 250,000 lying somewhere. Because at the end of the day, long story short, this didn't cost 350. Somebody's pocketing the money somewhere. And we all know who signed off on it. Let's be fair, we can't lie about this. Who signed off on it was Eamon Ryan, of course, because Eamon Ryan is just obsessed with bicycles. He dreams of bicycles every night in his dreams. He literally sleeps in with a bicycle to be totally honest in his bed because he's that just obsessed with bicycles and with cycle lanes and the whole shebang. So we all know who signed off on this when he was in one of his days after waking up. He signed the paper saying this should be a great idea to spend this amount of money. And basically nobody will be ever hold accountable. That's the funniest thing about it. It's all, the Taoiseach's like, oh, we're going to move heaven and earth to find out who signed off and this and how it was spent. But let's be fair, nothing have ever been done, because let's be fair, it's probably Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael contractors they got that's in with Fianna Fáil, members of Fianna Fáil, so they won't want to, cause any disruption, and all that, because the establishment, we couldn't do that. So there'd be a big tribunal, it'd be winga rosy for about 6 or 7 years. And then nothing to come out of it, basically. It's the same usually with everything. It's the same with the infamous. I'm sure people remember me talking about this infamous printer. They spent 10 million euro on, it's a huge printer, that they knock down 6 or 7 walls and lets the house to get the printer into the building. Then they got the printer in at a cost of 10 million and a bit more. And then they got the printer in, right? The printer didn't work, so that they're going to get it repaired, paying thousands and thousands of euro. And then at the end of the day, the staff didn't know how to use it, so that they trained the staff spending thousands again. And at the end of the day, we're at the point now where they don't use the printer at all. So they spent about 15 million on it, and they don't even use it. So lets the house at this stage is infamous, and not to mention the dull bar tabs that the Irish taxpayer has to flip the bill. So basically, it's an abusive relationship, to be totally honest, the Irish taxpayer has with the government. Because we're just being abused, and this is pure abuse at this stage. The Irish taxpayer has to flip the bill for this, because at the end of the day, the person who suggested this, Eamon Ryan, or whoever, the Green Party should all take it out. All the Green Party TDs should take 100,000 euro out each to flip the bill for this. The Irish taxpayer shouldn't have to pay it. Or the Taoiseach should take it out of his own pocket. Whoever suggested basically lets the house, whichever TD had the bright idea, let's do this. Because again, at the end of the day, they wouldn't do it if it was their own paycheck out of their own money. And that's never going to happen, but you could willingly hope. But let's put it this way: the Irish media are already trying to gaslight people, saying, "Oh, we need to do this because we need to look after our TDs." So, well, the other day they were crying about the not getting enough money. The Irish Examiner, they were literally up in arms saying, "All TDs don't get enough money. They should be getting 6 million euro a week." Because they're not getting enough as it is. So we have to look after our TDs. It's not they haven't got to have a hard life. So we need to have gold-plated toilets and etc. in the house. That's what they're coming out now with the media saying. Oh, the poor TDs, poor Irish people lying on the street. Who cares about them? But the poor TDs that have such hard lives. People are not happy with them all the time because of the immigration, etc., and different other issues. But it's very funny how there's money for this. And I told you before about the schemes, community schemes, etc., looking for lawnmowers. For 2,000 euro for a new lawnmower, new trimmers, etc., head guards, etc. And I was told when I went looking for that, when there's actually people using it and making use of it and doing things for the community, there was no money for it. There's no money, 2,000 euro, there's just no money. But there's money for this and there's money for that, there's money for everything else, but for essential community work, there's no money for it. That's what I was told straight up. There was no money for it, even though councillors in this area were claiming thousands in expenses. And there's no money for 2,000 euro for a new lawnmower, except no money for that. But there's money for the councillors, of course, but there's no money for that. It's ludicrous, if you ask me. It's ludicrous, and especially when you hear there's so many people waiting for appointments, there's so many people, children taking scoliosis, looking for surgery. And they say there's no money. because let's be fair, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Wait, if we went inside lads of the house, how much they're spending on different things, they'll probably have gold-plated paper, etc., in the toilets. Like it's abusive relationship. Like that's what it is. It's generally abusive relationship, and I don't really know what to say about it, but this is basically nothing ever be done about it, but it's just basically a big fuck you to the Irish taxpayer, because it's not like they're paying for it. They hear the Taoiseach, you think he was paying himself for it. Like, not a hope they would give a penny for it, because, they're all getting paid by the Irish taxpayer. But, it's abusive. It's generally abusive. The way they should be criminal charges here at this stage for misuse of public funds. But we all know that never will happen. There'll be a big tribunal. The usual carry on in this country. Nothing ever come of it. But to be totally honest, whichever TD had the bright idea, whichever post for the Office of Public Works had the bright idea, because let's be fair, it didn't cost that. It's literally it's a bog standard. The quote fits in. The quote posting was on Vincent Brown back in the day when he went into the house. It's a bog standard bike stand. It's I wouldn't even call it a shed. It's a bike stand. What can you say? Like, I wouldn't mind if it was anything elaborate. Like, it's something literally out of the €2 shop, to be totally honest. So where did all the money goes, who knows? It just went into the abyss. But it's insane. It is.